Hey everyone, just thought I'd sit down and have a cozy little chat with you. So I've been thinking recently about success. What is success and how do we measure success? I've been thinking recently about how I perceive success in my own life. It's come to my attention that I fully believed for decades that success in my own life has been measured financially. I've been so fixated, I feel in a negative way, that success has to be measured financially, and I've been totally missing the point about how successful I've actually been over the years when I think about where I've been and what I've done. I've been working on myself these past few weeks through personal development. I have done this in the past, but unfortunately I've let it slip over the last few years. And it's come to my own attention that I've been hugely successful since I actually left school. So with a bit of context and background info on me, I left school in 1997 and walked straight into a retail position as a Saturday girl. I've been in retail up until the summer of 2021. I worked for a home furnishings company and ended up getting promoted from store to travel the country as part of the visual merchandising team, using my creative side there already. When I got the job, I'd only just passed my driving test, so was a newbie on the roads. And my first big trip was to South Wales to start this new job. And I'd only ever driven around my local town, and here I was 2 weeks into being a solo driver, pegging it alone on a 3-hour road trip. I did have some amazing memories from that job, and it did give me my confidence as a driver and life in general. I didn't have a sat-nav back then, so I actually had to use and learn how to use road maps and landmarks to find my way around. I worked in the job for around 3.5 years, but then felt like I wanted to be grounded a bit more at home. Travelling around, staying in hotels was great at first, but as a homebody at heart and meeting my partner, I was getting a little fed up of living out of a suitcase. So I got a standard supermarket job, which is where I was working up until 2021. I'd been hanging on to that secure job whilst pursuing other business ventures over the years, finally settling on retraining as a painter and decorator, but not fully going into being self-employed. I still had the lack mindset going on. What if it doesn't work out? What if I don't get any business? So I kept on for years working at both, working evenings and nights at the retail job and days retraining, and then eventually working in my trade, literally working day and night, which isn't great for health and well-being. Wanting to then start a family, I had to give one of those plans up, so the decorating took a hit. At the same time, my mum had to give up working as a teacher due to ill health, and it was suggested to me for Mum and I to get together and make our own little craft business. We're both artists and makers, so we signed up to local makers markets to sell our products, rented space in gift shops to sell, and then eventually opened up our own gift shop that ran for nearly 10 years. We had so much success from working together. It was such a fun and amazing time, and we gave other local makers and craftspeople the chance to sell with us, and they were also very successful too, which to be honest was just the cherry on top. We were always happy, like really happy when we sold, but seeing others thrive was an even better feeling. By the time I was reaching my 40th birthday in 2021, I felt like I was taking on too much again. I was still working in my retail job. Only 2 days, but still, work was work. I was decorating on my other days off in the week. We had the shop to make for, and any markets I'd booked us into, and also having my daughter as well. It was getting a bit much. So I had to decide what to give up. And it was obviously the retail job I'd held on to for so long. It wasn't my passion. My passion is creating. And as much as I loved working with other people, I knew it's something I didn't want to do forever. I feel I was made to give my happiness to others in whatever I create. So I finally handed my notice in, absolutely terrified of what the future would hold. I felt the fear though and did it anyway. Had nothing to lose, so I went all in. I've had crazy busy periods and quieter times in my business so completely is because I gave up on them. But I finally found what I love to create over this past year, and I'm really passionate about it, creating wonderful artwork for others, which brings them joy. I could actually go on and tell you a plethora of failures in my first few years trying to make it as a working artist. And I could have gotten down about those circumstances, which I did do for a little while, thinking about the money wasted on endless art prints and products that haven't sold as well as I thought they were going to. Some of those products were influenced by others, who thought that a certain subject matter would be great for me, and some of it was misjudgment on my part. I had to feel those feelings though and acknowledge them, but then I needed to move past those doubts and fears and remind myself that creativity happens inside of me. It's who I am at my core, and it's what I'm passionate about, regardless of who validates it out there in the world. I am a working artist. I remember that whenever someone has asked me what I did as a job, I was always kind of embarrassed about saying I was an artist. It was always an afterthought, a little sentence that I slipped in after telling people I was a shop assistant. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that career path. I did it for decades and enjoyed it very much. I was thinking that people wouldn't take me seriously if I told them I was an artist, which is absolutely ridiculous now I think about it. I'm a successful working artist. What's opened my eyes up even more this past week or so is the pure excitement and joy that is coming from my clients when I'm starting the work for them. It's what makes what I do so special as a creator. I have friends and family whose jobs I wouldn't want for all the money in the world. They work in very different industries, but it works for them and lights them up when they help others in their own way, and that is pure success. Remember, you are not defined by the circumstances of what you perceive to be failure or success. Think about your own life and what success you've had. It can be the tiny little wins as much as the biggest ones. I've had financial success over the years, and I know there's much more to come. But I also have a family who loves me, a roof over our heads, good food to eat, comfort, and most of all, love.